There is a man somewhere right now sitting in his own living room, watching television next to his wife, completely unaware that she has already emotionally checked out. He thinks everything is fine. He thinks the silence is just tiredness. He thinks the distance is just stress from work. But somewhere across town, or maybe closer than he wants to admit, there is another man who knows things about his wife that he does not, who makes her laugh in a way she stopped laughing at home, who gives her something she stopped asking for because she got tired of asking. This is not a story about bad women. This is a story about invisible gaps that grow quietly inside marriages until they become doors, and other men walk right through them. Most men never see it coming, not because they are not smart, but because nobody ever taught them what to actually look for. Society tells men to provide, to protect, to show up financially, and that if they do all of that, then everything else will take care of itself. But that is one of the most dangerous myths ever sold to a married man. A woman can live in a fully paid house, drive a nice car, wear good clothes, and still feel completely alone inside her marriage. And a woman who feels alone inside her marriage is a woman who becomes vulnerable to connection from somewhere else. Not because she is looking for it, but because human beings are wired to move toward the thing that makes them feel seen. The first sign is emotional withdrawal, and you have probably already felt it without knowing what to name it. It starts subtly. She stops bringing her problems to you. She stops telling you about her day with the same energy she used to. When something exciting happens to her, you are no longer the first person she wants to call. Relationship researchers have found that emotional intimacy is the primary currency of a woman's investment in her relationship. When that emotional pipeline between a husband and wife goes dry, she does not simply shut down, she redirects. She finds somewhere else to pour those conversations, those frustrations, those moments of joy. And if there is a man in her orbit who is willing to receive all of that, the emotional bond that forms can become stronger than anything physical, and far more dangerous to a marriage. The second sign is that she has become unusually private about her phone. Now, this does not automatically mean something is happening. But when a woman who was previously open suddenly starts angling her screen away from you, putting her phone face down, every time it lights up, or taking calls in another room, that shift in behavior is worth paying attention to. Privacy in a relationship is healthy and necessary, but secrecy is something different. Secrecy carries anxiety with it. It changes the energy in a room. Couples therapists consistently point out that one of the earliest behavioral changes seen before emotional or physical infidelity is a sudden and unexplained increase in phone privacy. It is not about the phone itself. It is about what the phone represents, which is a private world she is no longer willing to share with you. The third sign is that criticism of you increases, while her investment in the relationship decreases at the same time. When a woman starts to emotionally detach from a marriage, one of the psychological patterns that emerges is a subconscious need to justify that detachment. She begins to focus more intensely on your flaws, your habits, the things you do not do, the things you say wrong. This is not always a deliberate or malicious process. Psychologists who study relationship dissolution describe it as a form of cognitive reframing, where a person unconsciously builds a case to make the distance they are creating feel justified. If she is pulling away and simultaneously becoming increasingly critical of who you are as a man and as a husband, that combination is one of the clearest emotional warning signs a marriage can produce. The fourth sign is the one most men dismiss entirely because it feels too small to matter. She stops making an effort to look good for you, but starts making more effort for going out. You come home and she is in comfortable clothes, hair undone, barely present. But on the days she is going somewhere, she is dressed up, perfume on, more energy than you have seen from her in months. Now every woman deserves to feel beautiful and has every right to put effort into her appearance for herself. But when the pattern becomes consistent, when the energy and presentation she used to bring into your home is now reserved exclusively for spaces where you are not present, it is worth having an honest conversation with yourself about what that shift is communicating. Attraction is maintained in marriages, not assumed. When a woman stops feeling attractive inside her own relationship, she will eventually seek the feeling elsewhere. Here is the uncomfortable truth that most relationship experts will eventually arrive at when you dig deep enough into why marriages break down. The other man is rarely the problem. He is the symptom. The problem almost always begins with a gap in communication. A gap in emotional availability. A gap in the effort a man puts into making his wife feel chosen every single day. Not just on anniversaries and birthdays, but on ordinary Tuesdays when nothing special is happening, and he still finds a reason to remind her that she matters. Marriages do not fall apart dramatically most of the time. They erode quietly. One ignored conversation at a time. One dismissive response at a time. One night of choosing the television over connection at a time. The men who affair-proof their marriages are not necessarily the most attractive or the wealthiest. They are the most present. They are the ones who understand that a woman who feels deeply seen, heard, and valued by her husband has very little emotional space for anyone else to occupy. Presence is not just physical. It is emotional. It is putting the phone down and actually listening. It is remembering the small things she mentioned 2 weeks ago and asking about them today. It is creating a space inside your marriage where she feels safe enough to be fully herself, without fear of judgment or dismissal. That kind of presence is magnetic. And it is something no outside person can compete with when it is genuinely offered inside a home. If you have recognized any of these signs in your relationship right now, the worst thing you can do is nothing. The second worst thing you can do is react with anger, accusation, or control. Neither of those responses addresses the actual root of the problem. What does work is a direct, calm, and honest conversation about how you have both been feeling inside the marriage. Not a confrontation. A conversation. Research on couples who successfully navigate periods of emotional distance consistently shows that the willingness to be vulnerable and honest with each other, without defensiveness, is the single most powerful tool available to a married couple. It is not comfortable, but it is far less painful than the alternative. Your marriage is worth fighting for and fighting for. It does not mean fighting with her. It means fighting against complacency, against routine, against the slow drift that happens when two people stop intentionally choosing each other. The signs in this video are not a verdict. They are a warning. And warnings exist so that you can change course before it is too late. The man who pays attention, who shows up emotionally, who makes his wife feel like the most important person in the room, even after years of marriage, that man does not have to worry about who else is watching her, because she already knows she is home. Do not wait until you are sitting in an empty house wondering where it all went wrong. Start today. Start tonight. Start with one honest conversation, and build from there. Your marriage is not broken. It is just asking for your attention. The moment you decide to show up fully, to listen more, to choose her every single day, everything begins to shift. Do not let silence and routine cost you the person you promised to spend your life with. If this video opened your eyes, drop a comment below. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, and make sure you are subscribed because we are just getting started. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one.